naturally.
I'm Brandon Forrest.
I'm Fallon Redding.
I'm Landy Hill.
And we are Centex Reptile and Wildlife Services. We specialize in relocating, rescuing, removing, and rehabilitating wildlife that people either don't want around or don't have the ability to care for. We deal with exotics and domestic wildlife, especially domestic wildlife. Fallon has a reticulated python. This particular one is from Malaysia, and it was a surrender to us from a mutual friend. Fallon, you want to talk about him?
You can hold it up.
So this is Louise. As he said, she is a reticulated python. So they recommend with these snakes about one person per every 8 feet, just because they are very strong constrictors. These guys in the wild, you'll be up in trees and they'll sit and wait for their prey to come by, and they've got really large teeth, and it's not fun when you get bit by one. So you can't see it in here, but they've got a very shiny iridescence to them. So like out in the sun, it looks like a rainbow. But yeah, so she just recently came into our care. A friend of ours was downsizing his collection, and he gave her to us so we could use her for educational purposes.
And then who you got, Landy?
This is Charlie. Charlie is a boa constrictor. You'll have to. This is Fallon's baby. So you tell a little bit about Charlie.
So we've had Charlie now about 2 years. As she said, he's a boa constrictor. He's from Central America down to Argentina.
Argentina.
These guys are also they'll climb up into trees and they'll eat birds and basically anything they can get their mouths on.
Malaysia, India, and then South America, Central America, and this is one of our native snakes, numerous native snakes that we have, but she's a little special place in my heart because she's one of the very first snakes that I learned how to catch when I was a kid, and they get a horrible rap for people thinking that they're cottonmouths. Because these are more aquatic than a cottonmouth. They spend almost their entire life hunting in the water. Cottonmouths hunt on land and in the water. If anybody's ever been fishing, this is probably one of the most common snakes that you'll come in contact with. They don't think of us as food, but they do view us as a food source because people are pretty dirty and they leave a lot of things when they fish, especially like unused bait. And so if they find them a piece of bait, they realize, hey, look, this human left me something. So next time they see a human, they come and kind of check the scene out, and a lot of times that ends up being, hey, that snake tried to attack me, even though that wasn't the case. It was them being curious. This one actually came from a relocation call, as a matter of fact, and I've had her now for about 2 years.
Oh, as a matter of fact,
and she's actually had babies in my care, and I have them as well, and they get used during our programs. You got the little guy? She's going to break this little dude. So this is a diamondback water snake, Nerodia rhombifer. This is mother and this is baby. I don't know how well that patterns can be seen. They're super similar. They have keels on their scales, lines that help them crawl across rocks and gravel and through aquatic vegetation. If we can see on the lips, the labial scales have stripes on them. Is the easiest way to tell the difference between these guys and a cottonmouth. The cottonmouth would have a line like a baseball player would put under its eye. Is a really easy distinguishing thing, and you don't have to get close to that. You don't have to look for pits or triangular shaped head or slanted eye or cat-like pupils because depending on the light situation, a cottonmouth won't have cat-like eyes. If it's low light, they're going to have round pupils just like this. But the lips are 100% whether or not it's a cottonmouth or a water snake. So you see the size difference. These do not lay eggs. They are live-born, just like most of our venomous snakes in North America. So they come out ready to rock and roll. This particular little fella was born in August. After a big thunderstorm came is when she was born, and both of them eat tilapia instead of fish from the creek where they don't have to hunt anymore. They get fed like kings, kings and queens. And the big one, Mom here, she'll actually eat out of my hand, which is pretty neat. It kind of shows that they're intelligent. They don't get, most snakes in general, reticulated pythons especially, are incredibly intelligent snakes. They're probably the second or third most intelligent snake on the planet, so it's impressive when you start talking about mental capacity, because they can remember things, they can learn patterns. These guys are all the retics are tap trained, so when we enter their enclosure, we tap them with a hook to show them that we're not food. They're highly food motivated, so anything that enters their home is probably on the menu. So we separate, we distinguish for them whether we're bringing them food or not. The tap is food, otherwise dinner's coming in.
You guys mentioned that you're a 501c3?
Not yet.
So
That is something that we will be doing this year. We're working on a facility right now, and once we get that established, then we will go to our 501c3. But we did just recently, Landy has become certified, so we'll let her talk about the wildlife real quick.
I am a licensed wildlife rehabilitator with the state of Texas. So that means any possums, squirrels, raccoons, skunks,
Squirrels.
reptiles, any native reptiles. When they abandon babies, or if you find them injured, I rehabilitate them and release them back into the wild. So that also helps with removal, like if somebody has a nest of skunks that they
Yeah.
maybe don't want living right next door to their house or something, you know. So that's something that we've also added, because with all of these, we do get a lot of calls for other wildlife as well.
Something outside of relocations that we do is educational programs. We carry the various animals around to schools or theaters or any venue that invites us to come out and share these awesome creatures. We try to tell a little bit about their care, how to avoid these in the wild. It's a really big, I feel like, important thing, and to teach people to love them. It's hard to care about something that you don't know anything about. So we want to share just how neat these animals are.
And busting pet store myths. That's another thing we really educate on. A lot of these exotic animals are sold in pet stores, and people don't know how to take care
What's
of them.
that?
They don't realize
Yeah?
how much they're
No,
gonna cost each year.
No, I will not feed a kid to you.
And then name your company, phone number, best way to contact you.
So you can find us on Facebook, Centex Reptile and Wildlife Services. His phone number is on the page, or you can send us a direct message on our through Messenger. That's the best way to contact us.
My information for the
Yes.
other wildlife is actually on the Texas Fish and
Parks and
Parks and
Wildlife?
Wildlife website.
Okay.
Texas
Do
Parks
you
and
work with the
Wildlife.
state as well as like townships,
So
city, county?
That covers for the entire state of Texas.
Okay.
Yep.